can use tactics, thinking, and planning to be able to enjoy the holiday food and not gain weight. All right, everybody, this is the end of our Taking Charge of Our Weight for the Holidays video series. I'm so glad you're here. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining me. I do want to talk this weekend before I get into the topic. Let me just say this. You may have made a plan way back in week 1 to lose weight over the holidays. You may have made a plan in week 1 to maintain your weight for the holidays. You may have made a plan in the beginning to eat what's on your plan, no more, no less. Whatever you decided, that is fine. If now you've gotten to the end and things haven't worked according to plan, it doesn't mean all is lost and it doesn't mean you failed. Every day counts. Every meal counts. So if you mess up in the morning, that doesn't mean the whole day is trash and you gotta just do whatever, eat whatever. I'll start tomorrow. Don't do that. Stop then, pick yourself up, start over. It's totally fine, okay? Treating yourself with a little compassion, particularly around these holidays in the midst of our pandemic, with all the changes and all the things going on, is absolutely what we all need, okay? Now, let's get on to how do you eat all of the holiday food and not gain weight. Now, what I'm not going to tell you is how to eat as much of every single thing that's on the table that you want and not gain weight. Now, you know that's not going to work. You've done that before. You ate everything you wanted. It's very predictable. Every time you do that, you gain weight. Every time. So, how do you enjoy the holiday food without gaining weight? Well, the first thing, and we're getting now into tactics, but I'm going to tell you the most important thing is your mindset. You got to go back to the very beginning of what do you want, okay? If your plan is I want to see the scale be at least exactly the same, if not lower than before the holidays, your eyes looking at that food will be in a very different perspective than if your attitude is, it's a free-for-all. I have no plan. Let's just go. So start with remembering your why, okay? But once you remember your why, a couple things you want to do just to be smart, okay? First of all, go look at the whole buffet line. We always end up laying out all the food and we eat family style. We don't serve plates, right? So you may do it differently, but if you have an array of food, go look at it. Don't take any, don't taste any, just look at it all and decide, okay, what looks really, really good? You're going to do this twice. You're going to do it once, just looking at all the food on the display, and then you're going to do it when you look at your plate. You want to rate the food. First of all, if you see anything out there that doesn't look fantastic to you, don't get any. Just don't even put it on your plate. And if you have to, because grandma's watching, get a really small amount, put it off to the side, and don't eat it. Anyway, when you get your food, you want to get it on a small plate if at all possible, okay? If you have to get one of the big plates because that's all they put out, just make sure there's lots of space between the food. Don't jam it all in there and pile it all up like 3 feet. Look, my husband does this where it's food on top of food on top. I don't even know how he carries the plate. Anyway, and men, a lot of them get away with that. But I promise you, my husband, who is a naturally thin person, meaning he eats like a thin person, he might pile all that on his plate. He'll get to a point where he'll be like, I'm full. And not another bite goes in. Never stuffs himself like that. That's how thin people eat. So, get your plate and look at it and rate what looks best and start there. Do not do that save the best for last thing. Because when you get to the end and you're like, ooh, I'm full, that thing that looked the best, you're going to want to stuff it in because it's the best, right? So start with the best. Eat that first. Don't do seconds. Don't do seconds. It never, first of all, one of the things you notice as you eat, the very first bite, this is the other reason why you start with the best looking thing on the plate. The very first bite, when you're hungry, tastes the best. And as you get fuller and fuller and fuller, the next bites don't taste as good. So going back and getting seconds, you think you're going to taste that same way you tasted in the beginning, it never tastes that good. You do better to put aside a plate and eat it tomorrow when you're hungry again. So, no seconds. And then make sure you're checking in, you're eating slowly, you're talking to everybody around the table more than you're eating. And when you start to feel full, if you know you want dessert, cover your plate with a napkin, go ahead and clear it, just stop. Because if you want to leave a little space for that very special dessert that you've been waiting for all day or maybe all year because it's Christmas, you got space for it. And you can have it because it's on your plan. You made that plan. But if you overdo it and you're stuffed, now you waited and you did all that stuff and all that preparation and you can't even eat your dessert. Or you're going to stuff it in and you'll see it on the scale tomorrow, which is not what you're looking for, right? So try a couple of those things. You do not have to make a salad while everybody else eats their special Christmas dinner. You don't have to skip dessert. But do you have to have a piece of cake as big as your head? Nope. You actually have a real small piece of cake, 2-3 bites, and you might be done. So those are some ways that you can use tactics, thinking, and planning to be able to enjoy the holiday food and not gain weight.